4 or 5 years out of it. Am I wrong in saying that? I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. I just think that Summer Rae definitely deserves more attention than what she's been getting. Yes, she got a lot of attention and a lot of publicity from the Marine Four, but how much publicity and attention did she really receive? Did she receive enough? That's the question. At the end of the day, this is what this all comes down to. And I'm really looking forward to finding out what Summer Rae will do, if in fact she will be one of the breakout stars coming up here in 2016. Over the next 6 months is going to be a really interesting time in the Divas division to find out things like how they will rebound off the loss of AJ, the possible departure of the Bella Twins, which could come as early as SummerSlam. And again, if Divas like the Bella Twins are leading along with AJ, this kind of leaves the WWE's Divas division in a very impenetrable corner, an inescapable corner that they will not be able to get out of, and a hard time situation, in my opinion. And it's going to be very difficult for them to rebound off the losses of three major influences in the Divas division. I mean, think about it, losing AJ and the Bella Twins. I mean, how can you rebound off that? It's not like you're creating new stars all the time. I know it's supposed to be on the new talent initiative and pumping out new stars all the time, but the fact is, what it comes down to, reality is WWE can't create new stars every single day. It takes time for divas and wrestlers to develop their skills, and obviously WWE knows that, and that's why they're pushing people like the Bella Twins so much to try to influence the Bella Twins to stay additionally longer than what they're planning on doing, because one wants to go home to have a child, one wants to go home because they have movie roles outside of the WWE being extended to them. Those offers are there on the table, and they're very enticing, and they're offering the Bella Twins and other divas a lot of more offers outside of the WWE and a substantial amount in the dollar value outside of professional wrestling. And I mean, after doing something for so long in the case of the Bella Twins, you obviously want to take things up with offers, and you want to think about what you're doing. So with the people like the Bella Twins and AJ departing ways with the company, I think the door of opportunity has never been more widely swung open for divas like Summer Rae. And I think this is where Summer Rae really needs to grab the proverbial ball and bounce it in her court. And if she's able to do that, if she capitalizes on this opportunity, reaches up and grabs that proverbial brass ring, then only good things will happen for Summer Rae. Now, I have posted hundreds of blogs on different divas over the years, and I have posted a significant number of blogs on Summer Rae. If you haven't noticed, you may have noticed that if you've subscribed to our show, been subscribed to our show for a significant amount of time, a lot of Summer Rae video blogs generally pop up on my channel because I am endorsing Summer Rae. That's why it says Jonathan Clarke endorses the future of Summer Rae in the WWE, because that's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do for Summer Rae. I want to get the attention on her, the spotlight, give her her 15 minutes of fame, and see what she really can do apart from being a Fandango girl, which was the inspiration of a lot of WWE divas. I know Ava Marie wanted to be a Fandango girl before Summer Rae was casted as the #1 Fandango girl, and then Rosa Mendes took over in that role when Fandango and Summer Rae went to Splitsville with their relationship to get Summer Rae away from Fandango. I know there was a lot of potential behind her character as the Fandango girl, but when she got away from Fandango, that's when her potential really started to shine through, and really began to recognize the potential of Summer Rae. I was tired of seeing her as a ring announcer. I was tired of seeing her as a wrestler on NXT, not winning the NXT Women's Championship. And I grew even more tired, more fast of her being the Fandango girl, because I said, this girl has a lot of potential. She has the potential to be in reality shows like Total Divas, which she got the opportunity to do, and in movies and in other roles in WWE. She could even be general manager. Hey, of AJ could be general manager of Monday Night Raw Super Shows, then Summer Rae could be general manager of Monday Night Raw Super Shows. She could even be affiliated with the Authority and represent people like Kane and Seth Rollins if she wants to go the way of being a heel. Now, obviously, the way she's going with her character is to be a fan favorite. She's kind of resembling Kelly Kelly a lot. In my opinion, if there ever were two divas that Summer Rae very similar resembles, it would be divas like Eva and Kelly Kelly, because in my opinion, divas like Eve and Kelly Kelly come the closest that any divas have of the past to what Summer Rae is representing now and resembling. In my opinion, she kind of has the grace and the style of a Kelly Kelly, but she seems to be far more skilled inside the ring than what Kelly Kelly ever was, because it took Kelly Kelly years to develop a style of wrestling. We saw Kelly Kelly wrestle very early within her career, but we didn't really see much of an offense presented to WWE fans from Kelly Kelly to keep us interested. The only thing that was keeping us interested about Kelly Kelly was the dancing exposition she offered us on ECW, and eventually when that got old, she started to wrestle. But in the way of being a wrestler, she wasn't that skilled. She was far from the caliber of Beth Phoenix or an Italian Neidhart, and then she finally started to present moves after into her arsenal after debuting with WWE as a wrestler. And now Summer Rae debuts quicker than what Kelly did, and she has more skills inside the ring than what Kelly ever possessed within the first 2 or 3 years of her run with WWE. And that's why I believe she's achieved more than Eve in the UFC or outside of professional wrestling, and Kelly outside of WWE with reality television. And that's why I really think you can have a tremendous opportunity here with Summer Rae if you don't let her go early in her career, because as I said, 6 or 7 years out of a diva is a substantial amount of time. You definitely have got a lot of years if you got 6 or 7 years out of a diva, but she is someone who you can easily get 10 years out of. And here's my issue with the Divas division, because we don't see longer matches. We only see probably one match on average of a 1 to 2 hour show of WWE every couple of weeks. Even with a 3 hour show, we're lucky if we get one match. And when Total Divas is a new season, we're obviously going to get two matches involving the Total Divas cast and the Divas division, what's going on within the division outside of the reality show for a 3 hour show of Monday Night Raw Super Show. But here's one of the biggest issues with the Divas division. There's not enough exposure, and the result of that is shorter matches, and we get only about 5 to 10 minute long matches between divas. You can easily, on a 3 hour show, give us about 20 minutes worth of wrestling in just one divas match. And then if you want to have a match promoting a reality show, you can have another 20-minute match to take up time. I mean, they're giving us this 5 to 10 minute kind of habit with women's matches, which is resulting in not enough exposure. There really aren't that many creative storylines coming about in the WWE Divas division. I mean, really, what's going on in the Divas division right now, as opposed to people like Kelly and AJ winning the championships and holding the championships for over 295 days like AJ did, giving the greatest Divas reign to be brought into the Divas division in the history of the Divas championship, since Maurice held it for over 216 days. Since AJ set the record in the bar at 295 days, what's really been going on in the Divas division creatively? The things going on with the reality show and Paige rallying the Divas division against the entire Bella Twins. It's just ridiculous what's going on. So we have lackluster storylines, not enough exposure, way too many issues in the Divas division, and the focus on the Divas seem to be what's going on outside of the WWE Divas division with in the way of reality shows and competitions. Again, the Divas search taking a lot of emphasis off what's happening in the Divas division, and as a result of this, divas like Summer Rae and Sasha Banks are the ones suffering who shouldn't be suffering, in my opinion, because when you talk about divas like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Emma, and of course Summer Rae, they have a lot of talent, but more of them than I would like to say are just being used as put-over girls for divas that WWE are getting behind the wheel of endorsement for. Obviously, one of them is Sasha Banks, but I mean, whatever happened to Charlotte getting a call up to WWE? Whatever happened to divas like Summer Rae having the most made out of their characters? Yes, Summer Rae's getting opportunities, but is she really making the most of these opportunities? And that's where my concern is coming from. When it comes to Summer Rae, is she really making the most of these opportunities, these movie roles, the chance to be a reality star, the chance to be possibly a future Divas champion? I would like to go as far as to say she's making the most of these opportunities, but at the end of the day and the end of these video blogs that I'm throwing up about Summer Rae, is she coming through with this endorsement I am giving her and getting behind the wheel of? And is she really making wrestling fans and herself likewise proud of what she's done? Is she proud of how far she has come in the WWE, or is she way too childish, or does she have the mind of a 2-year-old when it comes to her character in WWE? Every time the fans chant for her, she becomes very overwhelmed. If you notice anything about her at ringside, and she's just so excited when fans chant her name. It's kind of like how Kelly was put over for having the mind of a 2-year-old back in 2006, 2007 by a lot of wrestling radio show hosts, because they believed that Kelly didn't belong in professional wrestling at that point, and she hadn't exemplified enough exuberance. Exuberance is a word that I've been using a lot with these columns on these divas, either written columns or for the radio show that I do on YouTube and the podcast that I throw up on the website, of course, the podcast RSS newsfeed through podnova.com. Exuberance is something that I really look for and want to see out of the Divas division. And I think divas like Summer Rae have a lot of exuberance, but they're never given enough opportunities. And what it will come down to is how many opportunities we see these divas presented with within the next 6 months. The next 6 months is going to be really interesting for wrestling fans, and especially fans of the Divas division who follow it and have made a consistent habit of doing it, like myself. I write about it all the time. I talk about it on YouTube a lot because I believe in it, and that's why I'm endorsing Summer Rae as much as what I've been endorsing her over the last 3 to 4 months, because I really believe there's a lot of potential that goes with her character. She may not realize it, WWE Creative may not realize it, but speaking from the perspective of a wrestling fan, I've been a wrestling fan for years, I know the potential that goes with Summer Rae, and you got to trust me on this. If any WWE Creative members trust anyone, they should trust me on what I believe about Summer Rae, and they should really go the distance with Summer Rae. So it's kind of a plea that I'm putting out, if you would, to WWE Creative to recognize the potential. And if you're behind the wheel of endorsement, if any members on the board are behind the wheel of endorsement for Summer Rae, you got to stay behind that wheel, and you really got to enjoy the ride, because Summer Rae is giving us a hell of a ride, and she is putting out a hell of an effort to make her skills stand out, and to stand out to the upper echelon in WWE, to stand up to the authority, to stand up to WWE Creative and present a case that she belongs where she is. Something Kelly didn't do until the 3 or 4 years she was into the business. The first 3 or 4, she realized she had to change her ways or she wasn't going to make it in the wrestling business, and she did just that, became one of the more improved divas of '07 through '08. And Summer Rae, in my opinion, doesn't need to improve her skills, because she's already got her skills put on the table. She's presented the case to be a future contender slash champion in the Divas division. It's just a matter of time, and how time will play a role and have an influence on the direction of Summer Rae's character in the WWE. And that's my file on Summer Rae and what I believe to really be true. It's definitely summertime in the WWE, and summer school could indeed be in session in WWE. It's just a matter of time until Summer Rae proves indeed that she is a breakout star in the division, which is having an overflow of diversity and an overflow of excitement and exuberance. If there ever was a time to be a fan of women's wrestling on NXT or the Divas division, that time is now. We got the Diva Search, we got the reality show, Total Divas, coming back for season 4, I do believe, with Ava Marie back as one of the main reality stars. I think the Bella Twins have also been contracted for the latest season of Total Divas. If this is the final season for the Bella Twins, that remains to be seen. Although they haven't been featured in any of the promos, a lot of influence has been put on Summer Rae, a lot of emphasis. Summer Rae and I believe Ava more so than Summer Rae, has a lot of endorsement for Total Divas Season 4, along with that, of course, the Diva Search and everything happening within the division. So there's a lot to talk about for written columnists out there, and a lot to talk about for these radio shows, and I really hope that I'm not the only one behind the wheel of endorsement, because shows like Total Divas, the competition, the Diva Search, and everything going on in the Divas division have a lot of fans out there. They had millions of fans, both males and females, endorsing the Divas division, which is why I say, wrestling fans are some of the smarter fans that we have out there. They're never given enough credit, because they know what wrestling really needs to have happen for it. And I think that wrestling fans are some of the smartest people in the world, and that's why it really pisses me off, because if wrestling listened to its fans, wrestling would be far better off than what it is now. The Divas division would be getting more endorsements. We'd see more opportunities being presented for the Divas division, and we'd see more happening creatively all around the WWE. But what it comes down to at the end